Hello and welcome back to Ace Academy. As I enter the building, I spot Shou waving at me. As soon as I join him, it leads me deeper into the arcade. Where are we going?
To a game which will showcase our skills.
Please tell me it's not Dance Dance Revolution. But the gear simulators are the other way.
Not those skills.
Shou stops in front of a shooting game and pulls a gun out of the holster.
Shall we see who the better marksman is?
The game has inbuilt sensors, so we duck to the sides and take cover or peek out. The game will read the movement. It's a team-based game, but it sounds like Shou wants to turn it into a competition. Oh, you're on. How about we raise the stakes?
I like the sound of that. What were you thinking?
Loser buys the winner lunch for a week?
I never took you for a gambling man.
What can I say? I'm feeling lucky. I know Lady Luck's on my side.
Well, you're going to be disappointed because she's got my back tonight.
We throw a couple of tokens into the machine, and once the game loads, we jump straight into the action. And Shou takes the lead, and leads us straight into an enemy encampment.
You're falling behind, brosit. Ah!
A large wave of enemies spawn on Shou's side.
Crap, I'm pinned. Give me some cover.
It's still a team game. Alright, I'm going in. I take out the shooters, pinning him down.
I knew you'd pull through. Time to finish off this wave.
Yep. We clear the game, but we aren't fast enough to make the leaderboard. Maybe if we hadn't been spent at the beginning competing, it might have been different.
Not bad.
Yeah. After our shooting match, we head for the gear simulators.
No way!
There's a long line which snakes around some of the other gaming stations.
Well, I guess I should have expected this.
Why are there so many people?
It's because of the new update to the simulators.
Update?
The arcade has new prototype weapons by Eludian Enterprises installed into the sim.
Oh, what kinds of weapons?
Not sure, but I can't wait to find out.
You're pretty excited about this. He scratches his head and wears a sheepish grin.
Yeah, it's because I really do like gears.
Is that what got you into them in the first place? Shou looks like he's struggling to find the words.
Nah, it's stupid.
I'm sure it's not, you can tell me. It's strange to see him look so serious. After a few more seconds of hesitation, he finally speaks.
I got beat up a lot as a kid.
And now I feel like a jerk. I didn't know. He takes a deep breath.
I was always the one being picked on in class or after school. That's why I hung out alone a lot. Then one year, my mom bought me this sweet gear action figure for my birthday. Man, I loved that thing. It was so awesome. But the kids from my class, they pulled it from my hands and laughed as the leader smashed it against the concrete.
Oh man.
I sat there, my eyes red from crying, and I thought, if only I had a real gear.
Seriously, kids are assholes, and I'm sorry if your kids act like that.
Red from crying, and I thought, if only I had a real gear. I sat there, my eyes red from crying.
Okay, that appeared to be looping weirdly. But yeah, I'm sorry, if your kids act like that, you are a shitty parent. Anyway, Shou, I'm sorry. He doesn't face me. If I'd known this was such a sensitive topic, I wouldn't have even brought it up.
No, it's good to finally talk about it, you know?
Suddenly his body starts shaking. Are you alright? Look, I didn't mean to bring up... Wait, don't tell me.
I can't believe you actually fell for it!
Okay, you got me. This will never be spoken of again.
You wish. This is way too good to keep to myself.
You're never going to let me live this one down, are you?
Nope.
So what's the real story? Shou shrugs.
There isn't one. There's just a feeling, you know? Being inside the cockpit, your hands on the control panels, and the only thing you see out of your visuals is down the barrel of your opponent's rifle.
You mean you like the thrill? Don't take you for an adrenaline junkie.
That's not exactly it. In a match, everyone is an equal. You could be the son of the president or missing a leg or whatever, and none of that matters. All that matters is if you have what it takes to win.
Well, matches aren't really equal. If you're the son of the president, you could have the best equipped gear in the nation, which will give you an advantage over the gear with average equipment.
True, which is why matches held between standard gears are my favorite. Then it really is based on skill alone.
Shou's unusually serious and speaks in earnest. Although he's still smiling, it's not his usual goofy grin. He might come off as someone who doesn't take anything seriously, but after what he just shared, I get the feeling his facade hides a mask that's observant and alert. Interesting.
I don't share that with a lot of people. I don't think they'd understand.
I don't really know what to say, but luckily Shou's signature grin returns.
Anyway, good talk.
Yep. No need to repeat it. Now we can focus on the games. Shou grins and rattles the tokens in his pockets in anticipation. The line dwindles as we've been talking, and before we know it, it's our turn.
Looks like we're next.
Alright, just a text to say we're expecting a parcel. Shou and I take our places inside the simulation pods, and we continue to battle each other until Shou has to leave. I'm in a happier mood when I arrive home. Hey guys, I'm home.
You can't just decide that without telling me.
Uncle Kato's voice stops me. I can see him pacing back and forth in the kitchen.
So cut it short. This is the opening day of my new restaurant. They'll expect me to be there, and they'll expect you there too.
As I get close to the kitchen, I can hear a woman's voice on the other end of the line.
I really don't care. Part of our arrangement was that we'd consult each other before making a decision, and you didn't. So how you're supposed to be in two places at once really isn't my problem.
After a flurry of muffled words on the line, has Kato frowning deeper and deeper.
Don't forget, we are still married. We promised to do whatever it took to make sure nothing interfered with our careers. Well, if you don't show up, then that will certainly interfere with my career.
Married? Is he talking to Aunt Yuki? There's a pause. I think I hear her say, "I'll see what I can do," and hang up. Uncle Kato slams the phone onto the table and falls into a chair and holds his head in his hands. Hey, Uncle Kaido. He glances up and gives me a weak smile.
You're back. How was school today?
Good. I sit beside him. Look, I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but I heard you talking about Yuki just now. He looks a little uneasy, but waits for me to finish. What do you mean by still married? Isn't Aunt Yuki just away on business?
Sort of.
Kado smiles wearily and rubs his temples.
I suppose you're old enough to know the truth. Your aunt and I are separated. We have been for the last 6 months.
The last 6 months? But you aren't divorced?
No.
How come we didn't know? I mean, we're your family.
We had to keep it quiet. Divorce is viewed differently here in Japan. It's not as common as in the States, and Yuki and I don't want our personal issues to interfere with our careers.
I remember the stories Mom told me about how difficult it was when she and Dad first got married. She couldn't have stayed in Japan even if she'd wanted to. If you two are just separated, does that mean that Aunt Yuki's here in Ikusaki?
Yes.
I get it. I know Japan has stricter rules on family and what's proper. I don't blame you for keeping this secret from us. Kado grins in relief.
You don't know how much that means to me, kid.
Are you going to tell Nikki? He thinks before responding.
Yes, I will.
Don't you think she'll be angry that you lied? Nikki has always been more sensitive than I. And he shrugs.
Maybe. But I think she's mature enough to understand why we did it.
Yeah, must be exhausting hiding it from everyone.
It has been.
What did Aunt Yuki say when you told her we were living with you?
Well, about that.
Kado trails off and refuses to meet my eyes. She doesn't know we're here.
No.
Were you planning on telling her?
Of course. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I nod. Uncle Kado doesn't share anymore, but I can't stop myself from asking. Since we're talking about it now, what happened between you two? He sighs.
Yuki was ready to have kids, and I wasn't. We discussed the possibility of having children when we first got married, and I kept pushing it back. I wanted to focus on my career, and for a while, so did she. But you know how women are. At some point, their biological clock starts ticking. She didn't want to wait anymore.
But you still weren't ready.
No. After that huge argument, we started to drive each other crazy. I became acutely aware of all those small things Yuki did that I hated. We fought all the time, and at some point, we agreed that this wasn't working anymore. And that's how it's been for the last 6 months until we can figure out a more permanent solution.
It's kind of funny that even though you weren't ready for kids, you ended up with them anyway. He grins.
You guys don't count. You practically take care of yourselves. I'm just here to provide the roof.
Gee, thanks. Maybe it's a good thing you didn't have kids. He laughs. So what was the phone call about tonight? Kado turns solemn again.
Part of our agreement for our separation was that we will both do whatever it takes to keep up the pretense of marriage when it involves our careers.
Seriously, Japanese culture is weird sometimes. Oh, why not?
She's going on some sort of retreat with her girlfriend. Normally we consult with each other before booking any trips to prevent something like this from happening. But this time
are we using girlfriend in the sense that it's usually used, or just in the phrase, female friend?
I really need her there.
Aren't Yuki and a girl? Did you say she's going on a retreat with her girlfriend?
Yes. Why?
Her girlfriend?
Yes.
Uncle Kato, I've discovered the reason why your marriage didn't work. Aunt Yuki likes women. He stares at me for a second, then bursts into laughter.
No, her friend who is a girl, not her girlfriend.
Oh, right.
She is very much into men.
Okay.
I mean, very into men.
I believe you.
Trust me, she's definitely a fan of the...
Yes, please stop. Uncle Kaido glances at the clock and stands.
Didn't realize how late it's gotten. I have an early start tomorrow.
Don't you always have an early start? You get up before I do.
True, but I have an even earlier start than usual.
Ugh. We say goodnight and Kaido heads upstairs. I go to the living room and turn on the TV. After watching my shows and the news, I turn in for the night. I wake up and yawn. Another day, another class. As if on autopilot, I get dressed, go through my morning routine, and then hop on my bike and drive to school. When I arrive, I head straight for class and wait for the professor. He arrives promptly and begins the class.
Good morning. Today we'll be discussing the differences between military grenade weaponry and those used in recreational matches.
Ooh, sounds like fun. I want to learn. This should be interesting stuff. I focus on the professor's
The
lecture.
fundamental difference between the two is that military grenade weaponry are configured for energy output, which can cause lethal damage.
Makes sense.
Recreational weaponry is closely regulated so it can't actually destroy the gear frame.
Also makes sense.
Since the shields on a gear get the brunt of the damage, we consider a depowered gear in recreational matches as destroyed.
What if someone brought in an unregulated weapon for a match?
Before every match, the equipment of each gear is checked and double-checked to ensure the energy output is within proper parameters.
What about the qualifier matches? There was a gear that did some energy output override thing.
As one, the class looks at me.
During that specific qualifier match, the gear's energy core is what surged with additional power, not his weapons.
Yeah, it would have been tricky for my weapons to surge with additional power, given that I didn't have any.
Although, I must admit, I've never seen a core do that before. Hopefully this young man can enlighten us on how he did it.
No one finds out my secret. Nice try. Our team isn't giving up that information. The class looks disappointed, but the professor grins.
Smart move. Don't give away your advantage. Let's get back to the lesson.
He returns to his lecture. Once class ends, I hurry out of the room. My phone's already in my hand by the time I get outside. Let's see if anyone's free. Ooh, lots of options. I kind of want to see Valerie just to see how obviously evil she is. But I'm on my way to grab something to eat when I pass the campus bookstore. I have a lot of CNY swag at home, but I don't have anything from Ace yet. I know to take a look around, see what they have. Plus, remembering how impressed Nikki's friends were when they found out I went to Ace, I bet Nikki would really love to have some Ace Academy swag. I walk in, and the cashier counters are on the right by the entrance. And as I go further inside, I can turn either into the clothing section or the book section. Let's check out the clothing for a start. There are racks of t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies, all in different sizes with the Ace Academy school name and logo on them. There are even Ace Academy baby clothes. I browse the t-shirt section and spot one I like. It's got the Ace logo in the centre and teal stripes around the edge, kind of like our uniforms. Next I go to the hoodies and immediately spot the perfect one for Nikki. It's pink, has the Ace logo in the top corner. I grab the hoodie for Nikki and the t-shirt for me and stand in line to check out. I'm zoning out while waiting for my turn in line when a familiar voice interrupts me.
Hey there.
I spin around to see Yuna's smiling face standing in line behind me. She glances at my items and holds back a laugh.
That's a pretty hoodie you have there.
She's holding the same one.
But I think you might need a bigger size.
I laugh, and Yuna lets out a giggle. Isn't for me, it's for my sister. I hold the item I bought for myself. This is for me.
Oh, well, I think she'll like it. Is your sister younger than you?
Yeah, she's in her last year of high school.
It seems like you two are close.
Really? What makes you say that?
Well, teenagers usually go through a phase where they fight with their sibling all the time. But since you're buying her a gift, it seems like you two must get along.
Yeah, we do. Yuna smiles warmly.
That must be really nice.
Yeah. How about you? You have any siblings? Yuna hesitates and shifts her items from one hand to the other. And finally she shakes her head.
No.
She breaks eye contact and looks down. And I feel like there's something she's not telling me. Are you okay? I'm sorry if I offended you. Yuna looks back at me with a smile that's just too cheerful.
Yes, I'm fine. Please don't worry about me.
Okay. Does that mean you're going to tell me what's going on?
What do you mean?
Don't know. I just get the feeling you're hiding something from me. Yuna's silent, and then she points to an empty lane beside us.
I'm actually in a bit of a hurry, so I'm going to ring up my items in that empty lane over there.
Yuna.
I'll catch you later, okay?
Okay. Still wearing her forced smile, she goes to the next lane, pays, and hurries out of the store. I hope I didn't offend her. Once it's my turn, I pay for my items and leave. 0203. Nope, no idea. It's probably nonsense. Give them a second to see if they leave a message. If the message is about PPI claims, boiler replacement, or... No, those are the two big ones. After the beep, we will return your call. It was the boiler! Hey! I really should have said if it's one of those, you guys all have to send me money or something, shouldn't I? Anywho. I'm in the campus gym finishing up my workout. When I return to my locker, there's a missed text from Kaori. Emergency meeting. Meet now in the hangar. Jeez, all caps. I'd better get going. I arrive at the hangar about the same time as Shou and Maori. Kaori waits impatiently in front of her gear.
Finally! That took you a while.
I just saw your text. I literally came here as soon as I got your text.
I texted before heading over here so we'd be on time.
Guess you walk faster than me. Kaori addressed the rest of the team.
What about you guys?
Sorry. We were having lunch, and I guess we lost track of time.
Kaori blinks and then waves her hand dismissively.
Never mind. We have more important things to discuss. Like our sponsor situation.
Everyone becomes serious.
Our gears need a lot of maintenance to return to peak fighting condition. And the next round is tomorrow. I don't know why, but everyone I talked to was really rude and unhelpful.
Shou and I stare a knowing glance and Kaori catches us.
What?
Nothing.
She continues to stare.
It's just, sometimes you can come across a little harsh.
I'm just honest.
Sure, but honesty doesn't make people like you. You need to get in touch with your soft, warm, feminine side.
Oh, God. Kaori raises an eyebrow.
Is that what you do?
Yes! I mean to the warm thing, not the soft and feminine thing.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with a bloke getting in touch with his feminine side. We stare at him blankly.
I'm just going to shut up now.
Good choice.
Before you do, did you manage to get a sponsor?
He folds his hands behind his head and leans into
Nope.
them.
You forgot to ask around, didn't you?
Maybe?
He looks sheepish, and Carrie rolls her eyes.
What about you, Mayu? Can your father sponsor us?
Mayu shakes her head.
Unfortunately, he's backing the team I was originally supposed to join. When I was invited onto the team, Father was so happy, he promised he'd sponsor them. Even though I never joined them, he can't go back on his promise.
Carrie nods, then faces
You
me.
had that interview yesterday, didn't you?
Yep. Went to the interview with Warp Tech. Didn't work out.
Why am I not surprised?
It had less to do with me and more to do with our team's status. I could show you the full report from the SBA if you want to know the official reason, but basically, we weren't a high enough rank. I fished my phone out of my pocket and flashes low battery warnings at me before it dies completely.
Where's the report?
Oh, hold on, I have to charge my phone. My gaze lands on my gear. I race to it and head into the cockpit. My teammates call after me, but I ignore them. Once I plug my phone into the dock connection, it lights up with a charging symbol. Everyone's wearing confused faces when I climb out of the cockpit. What?
Why didn't you just use an outlet?
Mayo points to an outlet on the wall. You mean this isn't what gears are used for? Are you saying you never charged your phone in your gear? All three of them shake their head. Why not?
Because it's stupid. Why would I climb all the way up there when there's a perfectly good outlet down here?
That's the beauty of it. Not only does your phone charge faster, you get a bit of a workout too. Win-win. They stare at me, unconvinced. Besides, an outlet doesn't do me any good if I don't have a phone charger with me.
Oh, I suppose that makes sense.
Anyway, I guess we're back to square one.
Back? We never left square one.
Don't give up just yet. I might have something.
Another meeting?
No, but my friend in the SBA is still helping us search.
Okay. In the meantime, the rest of us should continue our search too. I'll take another look at what ACE offers. Maybe there's some kind of campus grant or funding we can apply for.
Can I point out the fact that these students have to get sponsorship from corporations in order to have a decent chance of passing their degree is bollocks of the highest order. Sorry.
Mayu, do you think you could reach out to some of the other major corporations we haven't talked to yet? Maybe with your background, you'll have more luck than we would.
Mayu nods.
Maybe Shou can ask around local businesses?
Okay.
Good idea.
Carrie looks at me. I'll follow up with my contact. She nods.
Hopefully, we'll find someone. But there's a chance we might have to fight with our gears as is.
Have my sodding guns arrived yet? I'm confident we'll get someone in time. Mayu smiles at me and nods. Shou claps me on the back.
Okay, we have our plan. Text me if you guys get any leads.
We all nod.
I'm off then. I've got some stuff to take care of.
I hope you mean reaching out to the businesses, Shou, and not playing your video games.
Of course that's what I meant. The arcade industry is a lucrative place to find a sponsor.
Mayu sighs.
Shou.
He wears his signature smile.
Okay. Let's go find us a sponsor.
Mayu beams, and the pair wave at us before heading out.
I'll be going too. Tell me if your friend is successful.
I nod, and Carrie leaves. Nothing left for me to do but to go home. An uneventful drive later, I arrive at home. I'm back! I walk into an eerily quiet living room. Looks like I'm the first one here. Feels a bit strange. Nikki's bright smile's usually here to greet me. Maybe she has an after-school club activity or something? I reach for my pocket to see if she's texted me. And my heart sinks as my hands grab air. There is a void where my phone should be. Crap! I must have left it in my gear. The sun's setting, it'll be evening by the time I reach campus. It shouldn't be too much trouble getting to Eagle after hours. I remember CINY was pretty restrictive on who can enter the hangar at night. I hop back on my bike and drive back to Ace Academy. Surprisingly, traffic's heavy and it takes longer than expected to reach campus. A handful of students cross the quad as they head towards either evening classes or the bus station, and even though the sky is in inky darkness, the pathways on campus are still bathed in soft light. It's actually kind of peaceful. The pilot's lounge is just as busy as always, but I don't recognise too many of the students here. Most of them must be upperclassmen, either 3rd or 4th years. I slip through unnoticed and arrive at the hangar entrance. I'm about to swipe in when the guard stops me.
Hold on. What's your business in the hangar?
I forgot something. It's not a lie, but it would be too embarrassing to tell him the whole truth. Luckily, the guard doesn't seem to care. Gives me a quick once-over and nods.
Alright, go ahead and swipe.
Thanks. I bring my student ID in proximity of the sensor, and a second later the success chime sounds as the door slides open. I follow the tunnel to the hangar. Sound of power tools, machinery, metallic ringing echoes along the walls. It makes sense that most of the repair work happens after hours. It's a lot safer for them to work without the threat of students wandering around causing potential disasters. Instinctively my feet lead me to Eagle. What the... A bluish hue from an active thermal display illuminates my docking station. That doesn't seem right. I know I turned everything off when I left. Cautiously I tiptoe towards my gear. There's a figure crouched in front of Eagle. The person is dressed in entirely in black and wearing a hoodie that hides his or her face. Still engrossed in my gear, the stranger hasn't detected my presence yet. Staying in the shadows, I cautiously creep towards Eagle, and as soon as I close the distance between us, I notice how small and petite the person is. Must be a girl. But I can't think of anyone who'd be so interested in my gear. Once I'm only a few steps away, she tenses as if noticing a presence. Before she can react, I grab her shoulder and spin her to face me. Valerie, what are you doing here? She grins. Her gaze flicks to my hand still on her shoulder.
I never would have guessed you like it rough.
Oh, for God's sake. I am not amused. I scowl at the smile on her face and it wavers. What the hell were you doing to Eagle? She flinches at the harshness of my tone.
Nothing, I promise.
You are obviously doing something with the terminal, and that's not nothing. She holds up her hands in defense.
I wanted to get a better reading on your core. I'm not altering anything, though. Just studying.
Why?
To figure out how your core was able to sustain such a high energy output for so long without completely burning out. Given the size of your core and the cooling system, the heat dissipation doesn't seem like it would have sustained longer than a few seconds, yet it lasted almost 10 minutes! Maybe there's a direct coolant injection to the primary source? I also didn't consider the acceleration of airflow given the hidden frame openings. Perhaps a quick calculation using...
The more she talks, the faster my anger melts away and is replaced by respect. She's more than meets the eye. Even though she claims she means Eagle no harm, how can I know she's telling the truth? I did only meet her a few days ago. It seems like she's genuinely curious about how my core works.
I'll prove I wasn't changing anything.
I watch as Valerie retraces a few screens with all the configuration data unmodified. Okay.
Huh?
I get it. You were curious, but you can't just break into other people's robots and mess with their parts. She looks away.
I'm sorry.
We're silent, and then she looks sideways at me.
So, I guess you wouldn't want to know that your primary weapon can actually benefit from an airflow exhaust here and here.
What? She points inside my open
You
gear.
see right there?
Yes, I think.
It'll still require validation testing, though. You should probably get your engineer to check it out.
My engineer?
Yeah, you know. The person who makes sure all your gears are working properly and helps you with any upgrades or improvements.
Don't the sponsors do that? Valerie shakes her
They
head.
help a lot when it comes to major repairs or new items, but an engineer on your team takes care of any general maintenance and the like.
She wants the job, doesn't she? Oh. Maybe we should get an engineer. I'll ask my team about getting one. Sounds like we could really benefit from it.
You definitely would.
She scoots closer and smiles.
And luckily for you, you already have one person perfect for the job.
Really? She scoots even closer and bats her eyelashes at me. Who's that? Valerie sighs.
Just think about it.
There's another pause. To avoid awkwardness, I shut down the open terminal. So, we should get going then.
Yeah.
Get your phone, moron. Neither of us moves. Don't touch my gear again without my permission.
I promise I won't.
I wait for her to leave, but she doesn't budge. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.
She stands in place and waves. You aren't leaving.
Neither are you.
Okay, on the count of 3, we leave together. She nods. 1, 2, 3. We both stay put. You didn't move.
Neither did you.
What the hell are you kids still doing here?
Security catches us off guard and we simultaneously stammer nonsense. He shakes his head.
Business here is done, and then you have to leave.
Valerie glances at me and I glare at her, still waiting for her to move. She doesn't. Suddenly a strong arm grips mine. Hey! The guard holds Valerie too, and he physically leads us towards the exit.
You should get home. It's late.
Well, with that guard being kind of a dick, I think that's a perfect time to end this part. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next.